Hello students, welcome back to part 6 video of this chapter, the living world. So in the last class we have discussed about the concept of binomial nomenclature proposed by Carolus Linnaeus, and also we discussed rules and regulations which are followed while naming the living organisms with few examples. So today we are going to start with a concept called the codes of nomenclature. So here in the living world, there are different types of living organisms. While giving the names for plants, while giving scientific names for plants, a different set of rules and regulations are followed. So that is called ICBN. ICBN stands for International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So this ICBN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, according to this code, the plants are given scientific name. Understood? So the name Solanum lycopersicum, it represents the scientific name of tomato plant. So this name is given according to ICBN. So here Solanum, which is the first word, it is representing the generic name, otherwise called as genus. The second word lycopersicum, it represents the species, otherwise called as specific epithet. Okay. Next, ICZN. ICZN stands for International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. ICZN code is used for naming the animals. Peacock. Peacock is an animal. Its scientific name is Pavo cristatus. Pavo represents the generic name. Species name is cristatus. So while naming the animals like this, the code called ICZN is followed. Understood students? Note down these two abbreviations, very important for your NEET examination. Note down these students, come on. So now we will discuss some important scientific names of both animals and plants. First we will start with animals. Cow. Cow's scientific name is Bos taurus. Bos taurus. Tiger scientific name Panthera tigris. Chicken Gallus gallus. So here you can see this chicken scientific name is something different. Both genus and species have the same words. So in certain occasions what you can find, some animals have both genus and species name the same. Okay. So this is really an exemption in the scientific name. Next, monkey. Monkey scientific name Rhesus macaque. Rhesus macaque. Next, scientific names of plants can be also called as botanical names, students. The scientific names of plants can be also called as botanical names. Okay. So scientific name of wheat Triticum aestivum. Triticum aestivum. Okay. Onion Allium cepa. Allium cepa. Apple Malus pumila. Malus pumila. Okra. Okra is lady's finger, which is a vegetable. Abelmoschus esculentus. Abelmoschus esculentus. Garden pea Pisum sativum. Pisum sativum. So these are some important scientific names of animals and plants. Note down these students in your notebook. Now we will discuss about another technical term called as taxa. What is taxa? T-A-X-A, taxa. The convenient categories used to study organisms is called as taxa. The convenient categories used to study the living organisms is called as taxa. So if you want to study about the dogs, you will use the term called as dogs, that represents collectively different varieties or different breeds of dogs. So when I say dogs, what you will picturize in your mind, what will imagine your mind, you will imagine about that friendly animal which will bark at some unknown people, and the same animal which will wag its tail by showing its affection, isn't it? So you will not imagine about one particular breed. Okay. So here dogs represent one taxon. Taxon means a category. It is a singular form. It is singular form of taxa. Taxa represents plural form. Okay, here dogs is one taxon. Okay, if I say Alsatians, word, what will you imagine in your mind? You will imagine about that particular breed of dog which is otherwise known as the German Shepherd dog. Okay, so it is a particular variety or a particular breed of dog. You will imagine about that particular breed of dog. So this is also a separate taxon, but at a different level. It is also a taxon. So if I say mammals, what will come into your mind? What will imagine in your mind? You will imagine about those animals which have hair on their skin and which will give milk to their young ones and which have a pair of external ears like this. So these characters will come into your mind. Okay. So mammals is also a taxon. It is also a separate taxon. Okay. So the dogs, they belong, the Alsatians, they belong to the taxon called as dogs, and the dogs, they belong to the taxon called as mammals. But all these are the taxons at different levels. They are categories or taxons at different levels. Okay, so the mammals include the dogs and the dogs include Alsatians. Understood, students? Now if I say cats, what will picturize in your mind? You will picturize about that animal which will make a characteristic sound and it is having fluffy coat, a fluffy fur. Okay, so you will never imagine about one particular breed of cat. So cat, the taxon, cats represent all the different breeds of cats. So here cats is also a taxon. It is a category. Similarly, a wheat doesn't represent one particular plant. When I say wheat, it represents the whole different varieties of wheat plants. Okay, so wheat is also a taxon, rice is also a taxon, plants is also a taxon, animals is also a taxon, isn't it? Understood, students? So this is about the concept of taxon. So no confusion, taxa is a plural form and the taxon means singular form. Taxon represents singular form. So note down this, students. So students, now we are going to discuss a very important topic, taxonomic hierarchy. So in order to understand this term taxonomic hierarchy, I will use a simple example. Let us consider a school. Okay, who will be the head of the school? The correspondent will be the head of the school who will be responsible for all the financial activities. Okay, the correspondent will be in the topmost level in the school. Okay, so under the correspondent, who will be there? Under the correspondent, there will be a principal. There will be a school principal. So who is in the top level in the school? Correspondent. So below the correspondent, in the next level, who will be there? There will be school principal. School principal. Okay, so the principal will be responsible for teachers. He will be responsible for controlling the teachers and students. Under the principal, who will be there? There will be all the teachers. All the teachers will be under the control of principal. So the teachers will be occupying the third hierarchical position in the school. Under the teachers, who will be there? Under the supervision of teachers, there will be students. Under the supervision of teachers, there will be students. So in the lowest level of hierarchy, who is there? Students. In the topmost level, who is there? The correspondent. So this is what we call it as hierarchical level. This is called as hierarchy. Okay, so in the topmost hierarchical level, correspondent is there. In the lowermost hierarchical level or hierarchy, there are students. The same thing we can apply for classification of living organisms. While we classify the living organisms, we can put the living organisms into different categories. So first we will start with the lowest category and we will end with the highest category. Okay, the lowest category in the taxonomy is species. Species is the lowest taxon and the highest taxon is the kingdom. So there are 7 categories in the taxonomic hierarchy. Who is the topmost category? Kingdom is the topmost category, otherwise called as the topmost taxon. So kingdom is representing the topmost taxon or topmost category. Okay. So who is the lowest taxon or lowest category? The lowest taxon is species. Who is the lowest? Species is the lowest. It is the lowest taxon. It is the lowest taxon. Okay, highest taxon is the kingdom. It is the highest taxon in the taxonomical hierarchy. Okay, so the kingdom can be compared with that of correspondent in a school. Okay, species is similar to that of students in the school. Okay, it is the lowest level, kingdom is the highest level. Okay, now look here. All of you listen carefully with focus. Species is the lowest level. Several species of common characters will be included in a group called as genus. I repeat, several species of common characters will be included in a group called as genus. Okay. Next, several genuses which are having common characters will be included in a group or a category called as family. Okay. Several families which are having common characters will be included in a taxon called as order. Several orders having common characters will be included in another level or another taxon called as class. Okay. Several plant classes will be included in a taxon called as a division. This division is a taxon only meant for plants. Several plant divisions will be included in kingdom, that is obviously plant kingdom. So if the organism is animal, several classes of animals will be included under phylum, and all the phyla will be included under animal kingdom. Okay, so this is how the hierarchy level works. Okay, so if you move from lowest level to the highest level in the taxonomic hierarchy, the number of similarities will gradually decrease. Highest similarities will be present in the species. As we move up from one level to another level, the number of similarities between the organisms will gradually decrease. Okay, lowest similarities will be present in the kingdom. So similarly, if we move down from highest level to the lowest level, okay, gradually the number of similarities will gradually increase from kingdom towards the species. So based upon these two concepts, question will be asked in the NEET exam, students. Copy down in your notebook. My dear friends, in the taxonomic hierarchy, we have discussed that there are 7 different categories or taxons. Who is the lowest taxon? The lowest taxon is species. So now we are going to discuss one by one taxon in detail. Okay, first we will start with the lowest taxon, species. Species is the lowest taxon. So who gave the concept of species? The concept of species was given by the scientist Ernest Mayr. So according to the scientist, species are those group of organisms which interbreed freely to produce fertile offspring and reproductively isolated. So I repeat once again, species are the group of organisms which can interbreed freely. They can reproduce freely. Interbreed means reproduce. They can freely interbreed among themselves to produce what? To produce a fertile offspring. What do you mean by fertile? Those organisms which have capacity to reproduce are called as fertile. Okay. Those which have no ability to reproduce are called as sterile. Okay. So after interbreeding, these organisms are able to produce fertile offsprings, and also they are reproductively isolated. Such type of organisms we call them as species. So this concept was given by Ernest Mayr, and the term species was coined by scientist John Ray. Very important. The term species was coined by John Ray. Okay. Now what are the examples of species? So in the plants you can take tomato, potato, brinjal. These are different examples of species. Tomato plant is one species, potato plant is another species, brinjal is also another species. In animals, we can take tiger is a species, lion is a separate species, leopard is also separate species. So in order to make you understand, I will tell one example. Okay, imagine that there was a forest, a big forest. So what is this? This is a forest. Okay, so in the forest there will be number of trees. Okay, there will be lot of food for the animals, and obviously there will be lot of water bodies to drink water. So there are suitable environmental conditions in the forest. Okay, so in this forest there are some wild animals. So there are some wild donkeys. Imagine that these are wild donkeys. There is a population of wild donkeys. So these are donkeys. Okay. There is also a population of horses, wild horses. In the same forest, there is a population of wild horses. So wild horses are also living in the same forest. Okay. I am just drawing two animals, but many animals will be there. Hundreds of animals will be there in the forest. So imagine these are the wild horses. Okay. So in a forest there are population of wild donkeys and population of wild horses. So now look here. These two species, donkeys and horses, they are reproductively isolated. Okay, so why? Because donkey is different species, horse is different species, they cannot reproduce among themselves. Okay, donkeys can reproduce among donkeys itself, horses can reproduce among horses itself. So there is a reproductive isolation in the species. Okay, so one species cannot reproduce with another species, isn't it? Now, the organisms which interbreed freely to produce fertile offsprings. So here donkeys will reproduce among donkeys and again give rise to baby donkeys. Okay, the baby donkey which is formed, when it becomes big, again it is able to continue the reproduction, isn't it? So such type of offsprings are called as fertile offsprings. Are you able to understand? The offspring or the progeny, it is again able to reproduce, to continue the race, then such offspring is called as fertile offspring. Similarly, our wild horses also can reproduce among themselves and again they can give rise to baby horses. This baby horse, again it will grow big and it will continue the reproduction, isn't it? But suppose artificially if you cross donkey and horse, artificially if a donkey is crossed with a horse, okay, this generally will not happen in the nature. Okay, it is completely unnatural. So artificially if the donkey is allowed to mate with the horse, then what happens? It gives rise to an animal. An offspring is formed. Okay, who is the parent for this animal? Mule. Donkey and horse are the parents for this animal, mule. So an animal called mule is formed, which is a hybrid animal. Generally the two different species cannot reproduce because of reproductive isolation, but in certain artificial conditions, if you create some conditions artificially, then it is possible to cross the species of two different species. You can cross the animals or organisms of two different species, then it will give rise to a different type of animal which is called hybrid animal. In this case the animal is called as mule. But if you ask a question, is this mule is a fertile offspring? Is this mule a fertile offspring? No, mule is not a fertile offspring, it is sterile. Sterile means what? Sterile means there is no reproductive ability. Means the organism simply it is not capable for reproduction. So then donkey and horses are not same species. They are different species. When we call species, when the organisms are able to freely interbreed among themselves and again produce a fertile offspring, then only we call those organisms as species. Understood, students? Understood, everyone? Copy down this definition in your notebook. Yes. Now coming to the examples of species. The tomato plant, potato plant, brinjal plant. All these are three different species in the plants. And examples for species in animals, tiger, lion and leopard. These are three different species of animals. Understood, students? Now let us go into the next taxon, higher taxon, genus. So what is genus? Group of species with more similarities included in a taxon called as genus. When several species are having some set of characters in common, so all these group of species can be put in one separate group called as genus. Okay, I repeat once again. When several species are having more characters in common, we can take all these species and put in a separate group called as genus. So genus includes the group of living organisms which are having more characters in common. Understood? So here we will discuss with an example taking the plants tomato, potato and brinjal. Tomato, potato, brinjal plants. These are three different species. But tomato resembles potato. Potato also resembles brinjal in some of the characters. That means some characters are common in these three plants. Some characters are common in these three plants. Tomato, potato, brinjal. Even though they are different species, some characters are common. That's why we are including all these three plants in one common group called as Solanum, which is a genus. So all these three plants are kept in a genus called as Solanum. So when we write the scientific name of this tomato, the scientific name of tomato can be written as Solanum lycopersicum. So what does that mean? Solanum is the genus or generic name. Lycopersicum is the specific epithet or species name. Okay. Similarly, while writing the scientific name of potato, we will write Solanum tuberosum. Solanum represents the genus, tuberosum represents the species name. Scientific name of brinjal, Solanum, again the genus is same, Solanum, and the species name is Melongena. Okay, so like this, these three plants, even though they belong to three different species, but the genus is same, that is Solanum. Understood? Now let us understand by taking some animals. Here, tiger, lion, leopard. These are the three animals. Even though these three are different species, but there are some common characters in these three animals. Lion, tiger and leopard. So because of the common characters with respect to their body shape, body structure, okay, the face structure, okay, the type of fingers which are present on their hands, okay, the eyes, the ears. So these features are common in these organisms. So that is the reason these animals are kept in a genus called as Panthera. Since some characters, there are more similarities in common, that's why we are including these three different species in a genus called as Panthera. Understood, students? Now, while we write the scientific name of tiger, we will write scientific name of tiger as Panthera tigris. Panthera represents genus. Tigris represents species. Lion scientific name is same. Panthera is the genus, but species is Leo. Leopard scientific name again Panthera genus, species name is Pardus. Okay, so from this what you came to know that the closely related species can be kept in a taxon called as genus. Understood? Now, there is a separate group for cats. Different breeds of cats can be included in a common genus called as Felis. This is completely different from the genus Panthera. Okay, all the cats are included in a genus called as Felis. Understood, students? Copy down this. Students, now let us discuss about the next taxon, family. What is a family? Closely related genuses are kept in a group called as family. Family includes all the closely related genuses. Now let us see. Solanum is a separate genus. Datura is also separate genus. Petunia is also separate genus. What are all these? These are all separate genuses. Okay, but there are some characters in common. There are some similarities. That's why all these genuses are included in a taxon called as Solanaceae. So which is a family. Solanaceae is a family. Solanaceae family includes the genus Solanum, the genus Datura and genus Petunia. Understood? Next, let us see the genus of animals, Panthera. So Panthera genus includes what? Tiger, leopard, lion, these animals. Felis genus includes what? All cats. All the cats are included under the genus called as Felis. So but there is some similarities in genus Panthera and Felis, isn't it? So that's why they are included in family called as Felidae. What is that family? Felidae. Next, all the dogs are having some common characters, some similarities in common. So that's why all the dogs are placed in a family called as Canidae. Understood, students? Understood, everyone? Next, let us go to next taxon, order. What is an order? Order is a taxon which includes closely related families. Several closely related families are kept in a taxon called as order. Now let us see examples. Solanaceae is a family here. Like Solanaceae, there is another family called Convolvulaceae. It is another different family. But there are some similarities in both the families, Solanaceae and Convolvulaceae. That's why they are included in a group called as order. The name of that order is Polymoniales. What is the name of that order? Polymonial. So the order Polymoniales, it consists of family Solanaceae and family Convolvulaceae. Next, the family Felidae, it includes Panthera and Felis genus, okay, and Canidae, it includes all the dogs. So these two groups of families are kept in an order called as Carnivora. Carnivora are the animals which includes mostly carnivorous, means which eat the meat. Meat eating animals are kept in this group called as Carnivora. What is common in both these families? The common character is meat eating. They are carnivorous animals. That's why they are kept in an order called as Carnivora. So the order Carnivora, it includes Felidae and Canidae. Next, coming to apes. What are apes? The animals like monkey, gorilla, gibbon, chimpanzee. Okay, this type of animals, orangutan, all these animals are called as apes. All the apes are included in a separate order called as Primata. What is the order? Primata. Understood, students? Next, move on to next taxon, class. What is a class? Closely related orders. Several closely related orders are kept in another taxon called as class. Examples we will see. So Carnivora is an order. Primata is a different order. So there are some common characters in both these orders. That's why they are kept in a group called as Mammalia. What is that common character? Can you guess? So both these animals in these particular orders, Carnivora and Primata, they are milk-giving animals. They are milk-giving animals. Okay, the animals in order Carnivora, the animals in order Primata, the common character is milk-giving nature. They provide milk to their young ones. So that's why they are included in a class called Mammalia. Okay, next. The order Polymonials and Sapindales have some common characters, that is, they have two cotyledons in the seed. There are two cotyledons in the seed. So, based upon this character, they are placed in a class called Dicotyledonei. Dicotyledonei. Di means two. Two cotyledons are present in the seeds. That's why they are placed in a class called as Dicotyledonei. Okay. Next taxon, phylum. Phylum is used for animals. Okay. Division is an equivalent taxon for phylum, which is used for plants. So what is phylum? Several closely related animal classes are kept in a group called as phylum. Several closely related animal classes like mammalia, they are kept in a group called as phylum. So the term phylum was coined by a scientist called Cuvier. So who gave the term phylum? Cuvier scientist gave the term phylum. So now let us see examples. Closely related animal classes. Class Mammalia, which includes all milk-giving animals, and the class Pisces means all the fishes which live in the ocean as well as in freshwater. Amphibia is a class which includes all amphibious animals like frogs. Okay. Reptilia, which includes crawling animals, lizards, snakes, this type of animals. Aves, which includes different varieties of birds. All these are different classes. There is one common character called notochord. The common character in all these classes is notochord. So based upon this character called presence of notochord, they are included in a separate group or phylum which is called phylum Chordata. What is the name of the phylum? Chordata. So the phylum Chordata, it includes those animals which have a structure called as notochord in their body. Okay, this notochord later develops into vertebral column. So because of this character called notochord, which is seen in all these different classes, they are kept in the group called as Chordata. Next, coming to the plants, Dicotyledonnae is a class which has two cotyledons in the seed. Two cotyledons are there in the seed. Monocotyledon is a class which is having only one cotyledon in the seed. Both these plants have one common character. So what is common in dicots and monocots? That is, both of these plants, they produce the seeds inside a structure called as fruit. So what is common character? Both dicots and monocots, Dicotyledonnae and Monocotyledonnae, these plants produce seeds where they produce the seeds inside the fruit. So based upon this character, they are kept in a division called as angiosperms, otherwise called as angiospermae. Understood, students? This is kingdom. Okay, the highest taxon kingdom. All the plants are included under kingdom Plantae, and all the animals are included under the kingdom Animalia. So this is the highest taxon. Kingdom is the highest taxon in the taxonomic hierarchy. Now copy down, students. So students, I hope you have understood this lecture. If you have any doubts, still you can comment in the comment box. I will answer your doubts. So do not forget to like this video and also comment and also share this video with your friends. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.